Picture this. It's 1997.
Okay.
You have a bunch, not you, the people.
Oh. Picturing playing Game Boy. 97, what's that? Game Boy Pocket?
I don't know.
One sec.
Hold my
Game
foot.
Boy is 89. Pocket is early. No, it's be Game Boy Color probably. It's like the first couple of years of Game Boy Color.
Oh, okay.
So we're playing Pokemon Yellow. That's basically what we're saying here.
Tell me some things that were invented in 1997 while I got my shoes on.
Here we go. McChicken, McDouble, McFlurry. All came out in 97.
The McFlurry?
Yeah. Oreo O's. Are those the little snack, the dried ones?
Oh, yeah.
The Palm Pilot.
Oh, shit.
Purell. Sanitizer.
Wow. McFlurries and Purell?
Yeah. Astros chocolate.
Are Astros the ones that were like, remember this candy that was so good and it was like layers of chocolate and there was like a cookie in the middle? I love those. No, they had a cookie center.
Oh, they are? Okay.
Those were so good. If you haven't figured it out, this is the video where I read books from a certain year until I get a 5-star. I had one thing on my TBR at the beginning, and then I bought some other things that I'm hoping to get to because honestly they all sound interesting. This is Out by Natsuo Kirino. I read the first chapter in the video where I read the first chapter of everything on my TBR shelf, and I think I gave it like a 6 or a 7, so it didn't open super interestingly, but I've heard good things about it. So while we were at baseball today, Liam's gonna be out for
5.5, 6 hours?
6 hours. So in between moments of excitement, I will be reading some of this.
They didn't see any of that. That was all just shine.
Yeah, I thought it was really bright.
There you go. You had it like this. Wait. That's what you had.
Thank you. Can you be here all the time? And then I can like talk with my hands as much as I want, and then you have the book.
Ooh.
You're my Vanna White. No.
No, because then I'll never get my own show if I'm Vanna White.
I don't think I need the sound effects. Just holding it. That's good enough. You're absolutely fucking. Kayla from the future here. I was just editing this video and it's like 6 weeks later. I just realized I deleted all the footage of me reviewing Out by Natsuo Kirino. So let me just give you my quick review here. Obviously, this was not the 5 stars, so it's okay. This was just a very okay thriller to me. It was translated by Stephen Snyder. It originally came out in 1997 and was translated and published here in 2003. And it's about a group of women who work at this boxed lunch facility. One of them kills her husband and she enlists the help of her co-workers to cover it up. Now, when I heard that original pitch, I didn't think it would take like halfway through the book for that to happen. Yes, it does make sense, the setup, because what this book does well is introduces all of these characters, gives them such distinct personalities, so you get to know them. But it really dragged for the reading experience that I was looking for. I think the pace is reasonable, like I can look at it objectively and say that it's justifiable. But for my tastes, like I'm giving it a 3 at the end of the day. In a lot of ways, this is just a shocking, fast-paced thriller, but I think the intent of it is to talk about the culture of Japan and the expectations on these women and the freedom that they are looking for. And also fulfillment, like these women do the same job every day. They have certain expectations in the household. They're all struggling with satisfaction in their own lives, though they're very different. Some of them have money, some of them don't. Some of them have support systems, some of them don't. But I think there's this common human feeling to desire independence and freedom, and it's how each woman goes about getting that thing for herself. I appreciated all the messages. I think this set out in a lot of ways to be a feminist novel about female rage, but then a lot of other things were thrown in here, I think, just for shock value. There was a lot of unnecessary, in my mind, imagery. A lot of things that didn't necessarily add to the story, even the portions that I was enjoying. I just found it to drag a little bit, and then the ending was incredibly disappointing. This is a popular book for a reason. I get why a lot of people are into it and what it's done for people, but it was just fine for me. It took me many weeks to get through this, which is why it's been a while since I posted my last episode in this series. But that's that. Sorry I lost the footage. I put it in the wrong folder. But now we can move on to getting closer to a 5-star, which does happen by the end. This video has been on pause for a month and I need to get back to it, but I'm just not in the mood for anything like really intense or long, or it's gonna take a lot of my brain capacity to understand the plot. So I picked up something really random and I just thought that this would be fun. Don't mind my hair. I was in a crazy hailstorm yesterday. Liam had baseball and it started hailing while they were playing and they just kept playing through it and everything was absolutely soaked by the end. Here's what I picked up. It's called Girls in Love by Jacqueline Wilson. Apparently this is a really popular young adult series at this time, 1997. Here's me in 1997. I was 7 years old, and one of the pictures I have from this time is me getting a Spice Girls poster for my birthday, and that's going to inspire the movie that I watched for this video, because I haven't rewatched Spice World and I've been thinking about it, but I never did any of my childhood favorites videos. We never actually touched on 1997. All of them were 1998 and beyond. There was one bonus one where I covered like a couple other years, but I watched Spice World. I had the VHS. I watched it until it was destroyed. Like the tape was coming out of it. I can remember every single scene from it. I feel like I reference it in videos sometimes, different scenes from it. There's one portion that I always fast forwarded through. Like I vividly remember it, but have not watched it in at least 20 years. The types of movies that I was watching at this age were Spice World, Wild America. I also kind of want to rewatch. It was my everything. I rented it multiple times from Blockbuster. I know every girly was a Devon Sawa girl around this time. I was a Jonathan Taylor Thomas girl. I had his poster on my wall. I kissed it every night before I went to bed. So I feel like rewatching this would be a really special experience. Also, Excess Baggage was one of my all-time favorites. I should not have been watching it at this age, but I loved Alicia Silverstone with all of my heart, and I also just fell in love with Benicio del Toro watching this movie where he basically like kidnaps her. Also things that came out at this time, Titanic. I remember having the box set, both movies. You had to switch it halfway, both halves of the movie. Men in Black came out this year, Liar Liar, I Know What You Did Last Summer. And then one of my absolute all-time favorites that I have rewatched more recently, so I don't feel the need to, but Romy and Michelle's High School Reunion. If you haven't seen this, it's just so girlhood, best friends, incredible soundtrack. So that's the type of stuff that I was into. For books, I feel like if I had known about this, it's something that I probably would have read. And the only reason that I decided to pick this up is because I saw recently announced Jacqueline Wilson is doing the adult like take sequel of these girls' lives. So we're following Magda, Nadine, and our main character, Ellie. And we're reading from Ellie's perspective and her just like time in school. She's in year 9 and her best friends. And it reminds me, just flipping it open, of like the Georgia Nicholson series, which is my all-time favorite. I feel like if I got Georgia Nicholson as an adult, or the Babysitters Club as an adult, or whatever other friendship groups, if my favorite author was writing them like currently being my age when I read them when they were my age, it just would have been something so special. So I kind of want to be in on it with everybody. So I'm just going to read this. I don't think it's going to be 5 stars. It starts out with a list of resolutions, which I feel like a lot of us wrote in our diaries, all cutesy, like the things that I want to do now that I'm in, it says year 9. So is that grade 9, or is it like one off? Is it like grade 8 here? And I'll just let you know my rating of it when I'm done. I don't know that I'm going to need to update you throughout this reading process. It seems like a pretty quick one, with lots of little graphics to enjoy, just so I can read something a little bit light and silly today, because that's what my brain needs. And then I'll get into my rewatch of Spice World. I need to find it. I need to watch it. I'm so excited. I'm back. I had a really fun time rewatching Spice World. Not as great of a time reading Girls in Love, but it was actually better than I maybe anticipated it to be. As far as the other books that I was reading around this time that had groups of friends, I've reread a lot of them in my childhood favorites series, and I talked about how problematic a lot of them are, how there's just like rampant homophobia, there's eating disorders that aren't checked properly, just terrible friendships between the girls, and like things aren't explored as perfectly as like I would like them to be if I were to recommend this like current day. This one had lots of those elements, but at a lower level, at a more chill level than I've experienced. So in that way, I feel like this holds up better. I'm actually not going to be rating it because it felt like the ages of the girls and the topics for sure felt YA, but this felt like more of a middle grade book as far as writing style, as far as the type of thing that I would have picked up when I was 7 and wanted to read about older girls and what the older girls were dealing with, so I could feel mature reading it. And I don't like to rate middle grade, so I'm just gonna leave it at nothing. This is basically about 3 friends, and our main character, Ellie, went on this vacation with her family and met this boy who she wasn't interested in, who was a little bit like nerdy and weird. And when she went back to school, one of her friends was like, I have a new boyfriend. And Ellie wanted to feel like she had things going on for herself as well and felt jealous, and so she pretended she had a boyfriend. So she pretended she was dating this boy but gave him a lot of other different qualities. So she got to like share this experience with her friends but kind of made up who this guy was and also pretended that they were really dating when it kind of felt like she was more leading him on. And then of course he shows up in real life and all the girls are like, this is the guy that you said you were dating. And she was like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed, because he was just like a little bit nerdy or whatever. And then she realized she actually liked the guy, and it was all about, you know, accepting people, learning that, like, I don't know, looks don't matter as much or something like that. The plot point I was not expecting is one of the other girls, the girl with the boyfriend, her boyfriend is 17 and just out of high school and is pursuing this 13-year-old girl. And I was scared of the direction it was going in, but her friends were actually very much like, this guy isn't the best for you. He's not treating you the best. Like, don't let him pressure you into things. I don't think it went as far with the conversations. Like, I don't think as a kid I would have acknowledged, obviously, but as an adult, like he was very much grooming this girl. There were definitely good things about this, but overall it read pretty like aged down. It was a decent read. I don't think that I would pick up the adult version to see where these girls are now. I know this has been an entire series, and so you get connected to all of the girls throughout it. So I understand for other people why they'd be excited to continue. For me, I just, compared to the other things that I've read, I don't think that these girls are very interesting or unique on their own that would make me think I have to know what they're up to 20 years later. And the book itself was not unique in any way either. Like the storyline and like, there was nothing special about it that would also make me need to feel a desire to continue. Watching Spice World was just, oh, the nostalgia of it all was so good. It's so funny how I saw, like, okay, so the movie is about the Spice Girls, you know, #1 girl pop band in the world. The fictional version of their story, and it's like them breaking up as a band. They have this friend who's pregnant. There's a lot of things going on. There's people who are trying to write stories about them, get attention, write like salacious articles. There's somebody trying to make a movie about them. There's someone trying to make a documentary about them. It's so funny how much I loved movies about fame, but I do not want to read books about fame at all, like ever. And watching it, I like wanted to live on that bus as a tour bus. And looking at it now, watching it back, is like, that's so unrealistic, the size of that tour bus. Like, that is not what a tour bus looks like. And I just want to tell you my 10 fashion moments from this movie that I just still absolutely fawn over. One is Mel B's spacesuit jacket. I need one. I love it. The next one is Emma's green dress. She wears a lot of cute dresses, but this green one in particular, I'm obsessed with. Then another Mel B moment, this two-piece, obsessed with it. Jerry's pantsless sequin look. I don't know how to describe it, but this is iconic and beautiful. Another Mel B one. This like artsy painted two-piece, like the big pants. Oh my God, it's so good when they're going to this like dance workshop and they end up in army clothes a little bit after this. There's this one moment where they have these rainbow robes on and this cozy little like ribbon garden tent thing, and I remember watching this and thinking, I need every single color of these. I need all of my friends to dress up in these. And if you were not alive in this time, like, keep in mind, we could not order things on the internet. We did not have the internet. We could not go find the fun colored robes for us and all of our best friends. You could only shop in person at the mall, and this did not exist. One is Victoria's like long brown cardigan over a white corset dress. She wears a lot of just like plain black dresses, but this moment was stunning. Jerry's polka dot shirt and the overalls in this scene, I love so much. Mel B in the final performance of the movie, this two-piece, she absolutely had the most stunning looks of the entire movie for me. And then Mel C and Emma dressed up as Danny and Sandy in like the incredible classic montage where they're dressing up and having a photo shoot. It's like the best part of most movies. There's even a moment where they all dress up as each other, and I love that so much. Anyway, so those are my favorite looks from 1997, and I'll talk to you next when I decide I can handle this behemoth of a book. It says it's only 345 pages, but the audiobook was like 20 hours. It doesn't have a lot of breaks. And I don't fully remember what it is. Is it vampires? Jessica is an African-American journalist, as ambitious as she is bright. She's chasing the biggest story of her life, a story that strikes closer to home than she knows. Dawit is an immortal whose ancient thirst for wisdom leads him to break the first commandment of his kind, not to fall in love. Oh. Together they're about to pay the ultimate price for their ambition and their desire. Okay, I didn't know that this had any romantic feelings to it at all. Would we call this paranormal romance, or is it just more paranormal and horror? Because I thought that's what it was. I have given Tananarive Due 4 stars multiple times, 5 stars, and I'm excited to go back to 1997 with her and see what comes of this situation. Good morning, my friends. As evident by my dusty walking pad, I have not done anything substantially active in 2 weeks since I was having like allergy issues. Then we were on a trip. Then Liam had a lot of baseball. Excuses. So today I'm back on the horse. Actually, I also have a bunch of towels to fold here. So first, let's deal with those. Somebody commented on my last video that they didn't know how to fold towels until I folded my towels. And I don't think this is the only way to fold towels, but this is how I was taught when I worked as a housekeeper. Ta-da. And then somebody said, why do you own so many gray towels? And first of all, this is taupe. Second of all, how dare you? Third of all, are we not doing matching towels in 2024? Like, have I just missed the memo? I've got 4 bath towels and 2 extra large bath towels for when you just want to feel extra cozy. So if I wash them all at the same time, then I've got 6 towels. Today I've only got 2. Plus this one. I do get fun sometimes, but check it out. Today I also have a hand towel and a face towel to fold, and I'll show you just how we did it at the Ramada. First step, fold a little bit because you're making a pocket. Fold it into thirds on the opposite side. Now it's gonna hang over your towels like this. Then you need a face towel and you're gonna fold it like an accordion. And then in half. Then you stick it in your pocket. Like this. And just like that. Check you out. Now, since apparently we're doing a house tour, let's head to the kitchen. Normally while I do my morning walk jog, I put a hash brown in the oven for 30 minutes, but I'm a little bit bored of my hash brown. And I saw on, why am I going in the cupboard? Cottage cheese is in the fridge. I saw on TikTok that people have been making these like high protein wraps. They're just like an omelet in the oven. Most people add eggs to it. I want to eat eggs on top of it, and therefore I don't want to put eggs in it. And I saw a couple people say that you could do it just with the cottage cheese and not anything added. I don't know if I believe them, but I want to try it. I'm gonna give it a go with 1 and 2% to see if it makes a difference of like how, I don't know, like cooked it gets, how soggy it gets, how crispy it could get. And I happen to have both. So for one, I'm also going to lightly blend it, and the other I'm just gonna put on here. I also feel like maybe I should get as much liquid out as I can. I know that some people are really grossed out by cottage cheese. I like it, but I see a lot of TikToks that are like, you know, those stupid ones that are like, sing along to the foods that you wouldn't eat. And cottage cheese is like always in there. Probably because of the texture. And I'll see you back here in 40 minutes with the results. So the unblended cottage cheese did not work. It burnt, but the other one worked just fine. It was crispy around the edges and it was like hard in the middle. Definitely would have worked for a wrap. I could pick it up perfectly. The texture was decent, the flavor was decent. Next time I would definitely add some like garlic seasonings, things that other people have done, but I just wanted to try it out for the first time, the basic way. And I was pleasantly surprised. Really don't want to add eggs to it. I'm sure you could do just egg whites too. I think if I did a thicker layer, it would have turned out even better. So now today, I just have some errands to run. I have blood work to do. I just went to the bookstore. I picked up some things. Let me show you. I've got the ultimate romance reading challenge, which I'm filming a probably very long video for, so don't expect that anytime soon. I grabbed some horror related things while I was there that I was not planning on, but I did anyway. This one is Withered. I was planning on reading this like later, probably in the summer, for a haunted house vlog. And then this one I just saw that I've never heard of, called Be Scared of Everything. It's horror essays. It says it's a smart mashup of pop culture criticism and narrative memoir that considers film, TV, video games, and true crime to find importance in the occult. Oh, I also got myself a sticker. And I got through the first like 5 chapters of My Soul to Keep. Brought it with me just so I could show you, but I'm not going to because I'm busy stickering. Check it out. The book opened up not how I expected, because a lot of times in like immortal or vampire stories, you're following a character as they meet an immortal, as they get to know them, as like they discover all of these things. In here, she's already married to him. So we have Jessica, and the book opened up with introducing her and her husband David. In the first chapter, their dog was sick and they're trying to figure out what was wrong with their dog. No spoilers, but if you're sensitive to animal things, it's not a happy chapter. Then after that, we're just learning about the family. Jessica is like a journalist. She is doing this story about abuse in senior homes, and her husband is a stay-at-home father, but also does a lot of work in translation. He like knows, I forget what it said, 8 languages. And then we saw how they met, which was he was her professor in school. They didn't get together until afterwards, and she was reluctant, and he pursued her, and now they're together and happy. But David is DeWitt, and now we're flashing to moments of him and this like huge group of immortals and learning all about this like underbelly. It's been interesting so far. I don't have a feeling about the rating at this point, if it would be a 5 or a 4. Like, I just love her writing, so I can't imagine it would get a low rating. But I'm gonna run into HomeSense and do some shopping, because I always like to buy some new throw pillows at the beginning of the season. I also have to stop by the library and the drugstore. I'm also on the hunt for True Fruit, which is like these frozen yogurt or chocolate covered fruit that sounds really delicious. So Jessica's whole thing is she is independent. She is the breadwinner. She has all this stuff going on. She is very accomplished, but her husband is giving inklings that he wants her to be more involved in their family life. Just being disappointed in how much time she spends with the family. And what's really happening is the more she digs into like articles from the past and looks up various things for her own research and her own work, she has the potential of uncovering his immortal past. So at this point, I can't tell if he's like a good guy or a bad guy, or if it can be summed up that easily. Like, I don't know if he's actually in love with, like, they have this whole family, they're married. I think he's maybe so in love with her that he doesn't want her to uncover his past, and he just wants to like take her and the kids and maybe make them immortal too. And so, but that's going to take them away from everything that they've ever known. So I'm just not sure yet. It's just so interesting to wait and see like how that's going to play out. If he's going to tell them he's immortal, if he's going to tell them everything that he's done, because I'm assuming also he's been up to some bad stuff, or if he's just going to whisk them away without telling them anything, like where the storyline is going to go. And I also am wondering if it's all going to take place in like this big, like immortal society. Are we about to change locations for the book, or is it still going to be rooted in reality? They just have this immortal life to live. I don't know. I'm just picking up Liam. I'm done all my stuff for the day. It was not a good day. It didn't accomplish everything I wanted to. I also somehow spontaneously decided today was going to be the annual demoralizing bathing suit expedition. Shopping trip did not go well at all. Not happy about that. What I did find though was True Fruit, which I've been looking for so long, and I am convinced is going to change my life. Though, to be honest, I thought that when I saw this, because I've only ever seen the bag, I thought it was dipped in yogurt. I thought some bags were yogurt and some bags were chocolate, but it's actually white chocolate and milk chocolate over top, which I don't know if I'm gonna like. It's okay. I already tried the banana and dark chocolate. That one was good. I really was hoping for yogurt though. Hello, it is a new day. It's pouring rain, which is why my hair is straight, because I couldn't imagine curling my hair for half an hour and then it getting wet in the rain. I would be very upset. So here's where I'm at. I have been trying all day to convince myself that I want to keep reading this. Not because I hate it. It's just because I know it's not going to be 5 stars. That was loud. I still want to finish it, but the thing is, I want to get this video up. The month is coming swiftly to a close, and it's already been a month since I posted my last year, like 1980, what was it, 1994? Whatever it was. Yesterday, I didn't update you. I went to bed without telling you anything because I just had nothing to really say about it. And then this morning, I woke up and went to go on my walking pad, put my headphones in, listen to like 5 minutes, and I was like, I don't want to be listening to this anymore. So then I started watching YouTube, and I think that is my new walking pad morning routine. I caught up on vlogs from Chandler, Bree, and Jan. Well, normally I'm just staring out the window at nature and listening to music or a book. I was catching up on YouTube rather than doing that while I had my breakfast. So I quite enjoyed that, and I just think that that's the clue that I shouldn't continue reading this right now because I want to find that 5-star. I really want to find a 5-star. I have 2 more books with me that I want to give a try to. I don't really know what either of them are, but this one, The Magician's Assistant by Ann Patchett, will be my first Ann Patchett, which I know may be blasphemous to many of you, especially considering how many people comment on my peach shirt telling me that it looks just like the cover of Commonwealth. I should probably make that my first Ann Patchett. I just don't know that like the sweeping, moving women's fiction is for me. Like sometimes I pick it up and I enjoy it, but it's not like the bread and butter of my content, and I think you guys know that. But then certain authors and certain books still get recommended to me so often that I feel like I should give them a go. So for many reasons, I chose this for this video. One of them is also because if you had asked me at 7 years old in 1997 what I wanted to be when I grew up, it was a magician's assistant. Well, I wanted to be a teacher, then a magician's assistant, then a marine biologist, then a teacher again, then a marine biologist, then an artist. Those are my career aspirations. And this is about a woman who is a magician's assistant, or was in her life. And then her husband / the magician dies. There are no chapters in this. I was gonna say, let me read the first chapter. It's just a big wall of text. Okay, there's that. And then I also have In the Miso Soup by Ryu Murakami. Oh, it's sideways. It's just before New Year's Eve. Frank, an overweight American tourist, has hired Kenji to take him on a guided tour of Tokyo's sleazy nightlife, but Frank's behavior is so strange that Kenji begins to entertain a horrible suspicion that his new client is in fact the serial killer currently terrorizing the city. It's not until later, however, that Kenji learns exactly how much he has to fear and how irrevocably his encounter with this great white whale of an American will change his life. Okay, I'm just gonna read the first, I don't know, 20 pages or however many pages I can get through while I wait for Liam because he has an orthodontist appointment, and then I'll give you my thoughts. All right, I did 26 pages of The Magician's Assistant, and we've learned about Parsival and the moment that he met our main character Sabine at a magic show, and she volunteered, she was a waitress, to be his assistant, and they fell in love, and they've been married for 20-something years, and he recently revealed that he was gay to her, and then he died. And now, I don't know, she's just like supposed to make a life for herself and figure out how to move on from that marriage and the love of her life. I think the synopsis says there she learns the truth. She goes somewhere else. She learns the truth about Parsifal and discovers her own unimagined magical powers. Powers that may help her find the love she's always been denied. I'm trying to figure out, does that mean like literal magic? I don't know Ann Patchett well enough, and now I'm starting to think she does write magic stories, or am I mixing her up with somebody else? Is it like a metaphorical, like she finds her own magic, or is it like she finds out she has magic? I started In the Miso Soup while Liam was at his appointment, and I didn't check the time at any point. He couldn't have been in there for more than half an hour, but I got to page 140, and I don't even know if I'm having a good time. This is just so readable, and it's going by so quickly, so I'm practically done already. It's everything that I told you is in the synopsis. There's a guy, and he's showing around this American, and the American man is very interested in having a certain type of experience with women, but every time he gets taken to somebody to satisfy his needs, things are just like weird. Kenji, this is his job, and so he knows a lot of the girls and just knows a lot of people in town. So he's like asking questions, and he's like also kind of suspicious of this guy, thinking that he has committed this murder for some reason. And so he goes to one of the girls and he's like, when he ejaculates, tell me afterwards how much, because his thought process is if he did kill the local girl because she was also sexually assaulted, he wouldn't have much left in the tank. And so Kenji's trying to suss out that situation, playing detective in a very strange way. And just the way that this American man is interacting with people and the way that the girls are behaving around him, like they're very uncomfortable around him. I don't know about this book. Just the way he is described, villain or not, and I think kind of like objectively we're supposed to understand him to be a villain from the beginning. He also has been through some type of trauma, and he looks different, and there's this implication that he is not like fully functioning. And I just don't think that, like, well, obviously it's not like handled well because it's not that kind of book, but it's like to give a villain these traits is just so like stereotypical. It doesn't make the book bad or good or anything. I don't know. The three things that I was reading today, it really just makes me appreciate like the time period that I'm in for publishing and in the world, I guess, in the way that there is acceptance for so many different sexualities and just like acknowledgements that those exist, because in 1987, it's like you're gay or you're straight. And if you are no longer interested in your wife and you're interested in men, it's because you're gay. You can't be bisexual. There's literally a man in here, one of her office mates, who has a child, was with a woman for many, many years, and now is interested in men, and that means he's gay, and that means he's been lying his entire life to everybody, and he's gay. And then in here, they were talking about how like, if the people in Japan can't find a woman, they start moving to America and deciding to be gay. And it's just so different to the types of identities that I get to read about in books current day. But anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up. It's not like, I don't know how to describe this. It's kind of like thriller horror. I'm just getting into some action at this point. I wouldn't call it like weird horror though, but it is a little bit odd, jarring. Maybe that's the word that I would use to describe it. And I genuinely do not know what I'm gonna rate this at the end. Like you could tell me, you're gonna finish that, it's gonna be a 2. And I'd say, yeah. And you could say, you're gonna finish that and you're gonna give it a 5. And I'd say, maybe. Like I don't know how to feel about this book. Also, I didn't mention, I don't think, that the reason I picked this is because there was a rabbit on the cover, and then I ordered a copy from Thrift Books and they sent me a different one, but whatever. I don't know if I've ever read anything quite like this. It definitely gives me the same vibes as Confessions in some ways. Just the shock factor of it and the way that like, it doesn't really need to be explained. It just is what it is. It's just like kind of ridiculous and gruesome at the same time. This one is like much more sexually explicit though. The ending perhaps leaves something to be desired. I don't know. Have I told you enough about this? Like, have I pitched it well enough? I don't know. The tone of this was so weird. Like, it was so slow for so long, but there was this tension the entire time and I could not put it down. I wasn't planning on finishing this. Like, I was just supposed to read the first chapter. And then it got unfucking hinged. And then it was just like really slow again and like melancholy. And I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this. In words, I know it in numbers. It's a 4. It is a 4. Do I want to pretend it's a 5 so I can end the vlog and start my next one? A little bit, but that's okay. I'm gonna get back to The Magician's Assistant, which I don't really know if that feels like a 5 either, but we'll see. Anything could happen. Hello, good morning. I am getting ready for the day. I have to head into the city again for some work. Can't think of anything exciting that I could do also while I'm there that I could bring you along with me for, but I also want to get home quickly because I want to film a little something for my members, because I just had this idea for a little mini readathon in like the middle of June. I haven't done a lullathon in a while, and I want to do a lullathon, but instead of reading my favorite books, it's about reading my favorite tropes. And so for me, I'm going to create a little bingo board of all my favorite things that I mentioned in this video series where I talk about like my 5-star assessment, and put all of those on the bingo board, and then myself, I'm going to fill it out. And I just thought I would invite people to participate. So I mean, anybody can, but if you're a channel member, there will be like reading sprints. I think it'll take place over 10 days. There'll be a couple of reading sprints. There'll be like chat in the Discord, and that's what I'm thinking. I also need to announce and figure out the date for the Literally Dead Book Club live show that's supposed to happen this weekend. Maybe I'm a little bit behind. Maybe I'm a little bit overwhelmed. Let's talk about The Magician's Assistant. I'm halfway through. And this isn't the type of book that, it's not that I never read general fiction. It's just that I feel like a lot of other people, this is how they treat genre fiction. They read just like regular lives of people all the time. And then sometimes, like maybe once a month or once every couple of months, they're like, oh, I want to pick up a horror. Oh, I'm going to pick up a sci-fi. I feel like I'm the opposite, and I can only handle like one general fiction like a month. Am I lying? Have I read any others this month? I mean, maybe Icarus. But so this isn't something that I would want to read all the time, but I am liking it. I'm having a fine time. A good time. I'm having a good time. It is not indeed an actually fantastical magical situation. Her finding her magic is like finding what she cares about and who she is, because she was, sorry, I'm not looking at you. She was just a magician's assistant. That's all that she like decided to be, all she could be summarized by her own volition. She wasn't forced in this situation. The relationship was not bad. The relationship also was not romantic. She was in love with Parzival, but he was out and gay. And they got married for other reasons, very like late, not late in life, but they had been like friends for 20 years before they decided to get married. Spending time with this man is like all she's ever known, and how she identified herself. And she has all the money in the world now. She doesn't have to work, and she's just trying to figure out like what she cares about and who she is, because she, not in like a self-deprecating way, she just doesn't feel like she has much worth or any real interests and any value, because she's never had to explore any other facet of her personality besides being the magician's assistant. This book is not only not magical, but it's not plot focused. I don't think it's gonna try to pull anything off. I don't think it's going to, like, there's no grand reveal or twist or huge plot point or big moments of tension even. I just think that this woman is meeting the family of her husband, her deceased husband, and they're just welcoming her into the family, and she's kind of finding worth in introducing them to who he was, because they haven't spoken to him in decades. And so she's kind of bringing them around Los Angeles and showing them where he spent his time and who he was and who his friends were and the businesses he ran. And in turn, this family is supporting her and bringing them into their lives and making her come and visit them. It's definitely a quiet, intimate book, but not in a soft, cozy way, in a grief-stricken, firm, we're gonna get through this together kind of way. And it makes me think about different types of parenting. I don't know how to explain, but like, let's throw back to 1987 when I was 7. That's when you start to like get to know your little girlfriend friend group's parents. And there's so many different types of moms, and so many of them are just like the warm, like you get home from school and they're gonna, you know, bake you and your friends cookies. They're gonna welcome you, like just very warm and inviting and like normal moms. And then did you ever have that like one mom, maybe this is a very unique experience, the one mom in the friend group who is intimidating, who maybe you're a little scared of, but as you like become a teenager, you realize that there are certain mothers who are just very much more suited to parenting teenagers than parenting young children. And so the kind of coldness that you might have felt, or the intimidation, or the just like kind of separation from that mom and the friend group. As a teenager, she's the one who like is going to give you a soft place to land, who's going to advocate for you, who's going to tell you how to like stand up for what you need, and is like really going to be there when maybe that's not like the soft, warm mother that you thought you would need. I guess maybe that could also be your own mother, or like it depends if you had what kind of mother you grew up with, that if that kind of existed on the periphery. I just had like, you know, I was a part of so many girl guide groups, and so I had a lot of women in my life, and I can think of that very specific mom in the group who just didn't seem like the friendliest, but she's exactly who you needed to help guide you in life. And it's not just that the mom in here feels like that, but the book feels like that. And so I'm just enjoying all of the different dynamics in here. Sabine is not struggling for support. She has lovely parents. She has friends. She has a lot going for her. And there's just this piece of her life that is suddenly missing, and it's being filled by people she has never met. And they're all just so apprehensive of each other at first, but you can tell like this is really what they need. They need each other, and it's just kind of beautiful. But it's not a warm book. Like it's not a cozy feeling this book gives me. It's just like a solid support system that's just really interesting to watch come to fruition. So while I'm driving into town and maybe doing a couple things, I can listen to the audiobook, and we'll see if this is our 5-star. I don't think it feels kind of crazy that this could be a 5-star, but at this point reading it, it doesn't feel like it would be crazy for this to be a 5-star. Yesterday really got away from me. Liam had a hockey scrimmage I forgot about. We had trivia night, which we won, but there was only a couple teams there, so it wasn't that impressive. And then I got really distracted by trying to figure out what color my ceiling is. And this, I don't think, helped me. There was a can of paint that came with the house, like a can for the walls, can for the ceiling. And then I went to touch up the ceiling like probably a year ago because like I remember the Christmas tree scratched the ceiling. And then I kind of went gung-ho and just started like painting the ceiling everywhere because there was like all these tiny marks that were bugging me. And so now the whole ceiling is covered in splotches. You can see that one is the paint that came with the house that's supposed to be the color of the ceiling. It's not. But now there's all of these splotches like all over the entire house because I just couldn't help myself. And I've now purchased 2 cans of paint and painted other part, trying to paint, and every time I paint it, it's the same color. I keep buying different colors. It's never the correct color. So hopefully I can finally figure this out. You'd think fresh popcorn for a popcorn ceiling, but no. And then when I hold every single one of them up to the ceiling, it looks correct. And like I'm good at color theory. Like colors are kind of my thing. But for some reason, I can't figure it out. And I don't want to buy a 3rd can of paint. You tell me which you think is the closest. Speaking of shades of white, I wanted to update you quickly on the books that I've already read from 1997, because a lot of times when I do these videos, people will comment, oh, this book you will love, this book is so good, and I'm like, I've actually already read it and it's not, so sorry. But one that keeps coming up is Into Thin Air by Jon Krakauer, because everyone's like, haven't you read that? I thought you loved that. And while I do own 2 copies of it, and I think it's beautiful, and I love stories about Everest, this has always been a 4-star, but yes, it is a book from 1997 that I've read and loved, and I talk about it all the time. I also have read The Climb by Anatoly Bukhriev, which I also gave 4 stars and is about the same expedition. Other things that came out in 1997 that I have read, Succulent Wild Woman, which was not good for me, The Watcher, which was not great upon reread, and then a couple other things that came out at this time that I haven't read, but just notably 1997 was the first time that Captain Underpants was released. Also, One Piece came out in 1997, and The Hat, which technically, we could call my 5-star because I love The Hat. Wait, why did I think it was called The Mitten? Am I thinking of 2 different things? This is The Hat, which is about a sock that comes off, wait, I thought it was a mitten. Like a sock that comes off the clothesline and then an animal puts it on their head, and then all of the other animals come and like, don't they come live in it? I feel crazy, hold on. Wait, there is one called The Mitten, it's by the same person. Oh, maybe I haven't read The Hat, I've read The Mitten. And they all like shove their bodies inside to fit inside the mitten. What the heck is the hat about? Soon all the farm animals are coming around to chuckle at silly Hedgie's stocking cap. Oh, okay, my bad. When did the mitten come out? 1989? Never mind, never mind, never mind. Anything I just said. Anyway, the video's over. I got a 5-star. And it's good because I only had like 2 other ideas on my TBR, and they're not even on my physical TBR. I would have had to go find them. And I think last night when I finished this, I was grappling with updating you because I was like, how do I explain that this is a 5-star, but it's not like that interesting? It's not exciting. It's not funny. It's not shocking. It's not emotional. It's not full of any real conflict, and it's not going to change your life. But I am giving it a 5. There's not a single flaw about this book. It's just a story of these humans and their experience together over a couple weeks. It's a slice of life story, which I really love. It leaves a lot of things unresolved, and I just think that that's perfect because these people are going to go on to live and relate to each other over decades. And I don't want that type of story. I don't want their like grand arc. I just want a peek into their lives the first time they're meeting. And it's exactly what I got. I don't look at this and think, I want to read a bunch of other things like this. I think it reminds me a little bit of reading Alice's Island, though this one has more of a mystery and more of some reveals, I guess, but just the idea of getting to know your partner better once they're gone. And I just don't have that much to say about it, which makes me think, should I really claim this as a 5-star? Should the video really end here? If I don't have that much to say, I don't have this huge passion, like, is it a 5? And I keep questioning myself. But in my heart, I know it's a 5, and I don't know how to explain it to you any better. Obviously, this author is really beloved, and this is a popular book, but at the same time, I feel like I wouldn't recommend this to very many people just because not a lot really goes on in it. It was just a nice time. It was a nice experience to get to spend my last couple days in this family. I couldn't wait to pick it back up every time I had to put it down. Maybe it was just the writing, maybe it was the dialogue between the people, maybe, I don't know, like following a woman figuring out what her passions are is a passion of mine, but I don't even really know if the book came to some grand conclusion in that way. So I'm sorry for the not so exciting ending. The finale, the climax of the vlog is here, and it doesn't really feel that momentous. After last month and having not a single 5-star, this month is going better. I think this is my 4th. So hooray for me, my drought is officially over, and I will see you in the next episode. If you have any recommendations for 1998, I'm trying to think if I have any plans. 1998 is the one I'm struggling with the most. I do have like 4 things in mind. None of them I would say are 5-star predictions of mine. So if you have anything that you just feel passionate about that you think that I would love that maybe isn't already on my radar, because I obviously have just like some of the most popular things on my list, but hopefully I will see you next month. It won't be too long until 1998 comes out, and I will see you then. Bye.